Hello friends, some years ago in my other channel I published a video on how to cast divers weights made of bronze or brass. I never made an English version and I'll do that now. Divers say the lead weights are not a health issue because they don't bite them or suck them. However, in some cases that is not true. In another video I will explain why lead divers weights can be a real risk. And you might want to make your own weights made of brass or bronze, or even of cupro-nickel or bismuth. Meanwhile, let's see how we can make our own diving weights made of brass or bronze. This is my belt of divers weights made of brass. Brass is composed of copper and zinc, while bronze is made up of copper and tin. The first has a yellowish tint, while the latter has a reddish tint. I have 6 weights here: 2.2 pounds, 3.4 pounds, 4 pounds, 3.4 pounds, 3.3 pounds and 2.2 pounds. That's a total of 18.5 pounds, about 8.5 kilograms, which is what I need to reach negative buoyancy with my diving suit. I made these weights using a permanent mold, so I can produce the same weights many times. This is more cost effective than the lost wax method, where we lose money with each casting. As I had a thick steel flat bar, I decided to make this mold to see if it would work. This mold needs a clamp to hold the different parts together and to remove the product easily. The mold is composed of the following parts: an inner box that receives the full heat of the melted brass. It is formed by 5 mm thick flat bars, cut to size and held in place only thanks to the clamp. Surrounding this inner box, we have another box formed by 1.0 mm thick square form. This outer box has 3 sides bolted on to the base to ensure it stays square, and 1 free side so it's easier to dismantle. And the base. This is the most important part of the mold. I only made it of a 3 mm thick sheet. I should have made it of 5 mm or more, just like the sides. As it's so thin, when I poured the melted brass in, the base warped and deformed the mold. For this reason, the brass weights are also warped. And although that's not too bad, the weights are not perfectly square. So, I would recommend using a much thicker base. This base must be perforated to place the bolts that hold the outer frame, and also must have 2 cutouts so we can place 2 5 mm plates. These slits should fit the plates in such a way that they are well held on in place and are not dislodged when pouring in the brass, but not so tight that we can't remove them afterwards. If we weld these on, it would be impossible to remove the brass weight even if we cut them at an angle. These center plates will leave slits in the weights where we slide the belt through. The procedure is the following. We put all the plates in their place and clamp them together, preferably with 2 clamps, ensuring they are held firmly so none of these plates fall out of place when pouring in the brass. Once firmly assembled, we heat it up while the brass is in our furnace. We must give it a temperature as near as possible to the temperature at which brass melts. If it's too cold, the brass might solidify too quickly and the cast will fail. Also, a too big difference of temperature might make the brass spatter and splash out. So, we heat up the mold while we melt the brass. Then we pour in the brass very carefully, ensuring it fills in all the spaces in one continued pour, and to a height below the end of the middle plates for the belt. We will have to remove these middle plates afterwards, hitting them with a hammer, so both ends must not be covered with brass. So we pour brass in up to there, so it doesn't cover the end. Now we let it cool off and we remove the clamps. Then we can remove this square side. And with a hammer we can remove this plate. And the other 3 sides must be disassembled, removing the bolts. Then we can remove the other 3 square sides and the inner steel plates, if necessary, with the help of a hammer. After removing the outer frames, we will have our brass weight still held on to the base due to the middle plates. So we turn it over and using a center punch and a hammer, we remove the middle plates. The middle plates will fall out, taking the brass weight with them. Finally, we can get the middle plates out of the brass weights, also hammering them with a center punch. What we have in our hands now is a brass weight with its 5mm wide slits for the belt. Although with some rough parts we will have to fix. We will have to file those rough parts or cutting edges and sandpaper them so there is no surface that may damage the plastic belt. And that's it. If you keep your brass weights perfectly clean and dry and in a dry spot, they will never go green and you won't need to varnish them or paint them. Now, to cast brass, bronze or cupro-nickel, you will need a furnace like this one and a high pressure soldering torch or something similar. If you don't have this kind of equipment, you might want to try casting bismuth, which is heavier than cupro-nickel and brass and melts at about 520 degrees Fahrenheit or 270 degrees Celsius. Well friends, that's it. I hope you like this video and it gives you some ideas about replacing your lead weights for brass or some other material. If you're interested in the topic, please check what's wrong with lead in the environment and with you. Or watch the video I'll be publishing as soon as I can. Well, as I said, I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please remember, give it a thumbs up, share it, subscribe, and thanks for watching. Bye bye.